Welcome to the basics of the foundations of American government and constitutional principles. Let's dive in. The duties and rights of citizens are what define a democratic nation. When we vote, serve on juries, obey the law, advocate for issues, and stay informed, we are not just protecting our own freedom, we are shaping the identity of our country. Citizenship reflects the belief that power comes from the people and that citizens are the heart of any democracy. Staying informed is critical. An uninformed citizen can be easily misled, while an informed citizen can use their voice to make real change. Reading the news, attending public meetings, studying history, and understanding current events help voters make better decisions during elections. Informed citizens help ensure that government truly represents the will of the people, not just the interests of a few. Let's review some key terms that every citizen should understand. Bicameral means two houses. The United States Congress is bicameral, made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Each state gets two senators, but representation in the House is based on population. An ordinance is a law passed at the local level, like a city or county. For example, the Northwest Ordinance was an important early law that helped organize new territories and set rules for how they could become states. Checks and balances describe how each branch of government can limit the others. Congress can pass laws, but the president can veto them. The courts can declare laws unconstitutional. This balance prevents one branch from gaining too much power. An amendment is a formal change or addition to the Constitution. Amendments allow the Constitution to evolve with the times while preserving its core principles. Limited government means government officials must follow the law just like ordinary citizens. No leader is above the law, not even the president. Power is restricted to protect individual rights. Enumerated powers are powers specifically listed in the Constitution. These include the power to tax, to regulate commerce, and to declare war. Implied powers are powers not directly written in the Constitution, but suggested by the necessary and proper clause. For example, Congress created the Bank of the United States even though the Constitution doesn't explicitly say Congress can create banks. Rule of law means that laws apply equally to everyone. This principle ensures fairness and justice, making it clear that the government operates under the law, not above it. Now let's explore how the United States government was created. During the American Revolution, the Continental Congress established a national government in 1777 with the Articles of Confederation. But the Articles created a government so weak that it could not enforce laws, collect taxes, or regulate trade between states. Each state acted like its own country, leading to chaos and economic hardship. Compromise was essential when writing the U.S. Constitution. Different states had different interests. Large states wanted representation based on population, while small states wanted equal representation. The Great Compromise combined both ideas. The Senate would have two representatives per state, and the House of Representatives would be based on population. The delegates also reached compromises on slavery. The three-fifths Compromise allowed 3 out of every 5 enslaved people to be counted for both taxation and representation. Congress also agreed not to ban the slave trade before 1808, a decision that highlighted the deep divisions over slavery even as the country was being formed. The framers of the Constitution were influenced by the English Magna Carta. Signed in 1215, the Magna Carta limited the power of the king and established important ideas like the right to a trial by jury and protection against unlawful imprisonment. These ideas were built into the U.S. Constitution to ensure individual rights and limit government power. The framers also chose to divide powers between the federal government and the states, creating a system called federalism. The federal government would handle national defense, foreign policy, and currency, while state governments would oversee education, elections, and local issues. This division of power made sure that authority was spread out, preventing the return of tyranny. Popular sovereignty is another core principle. It means that the people are the true source of government power. This idea is reflected in the Constitution's opening words, "We, the people," which emphasize that the government exists to serve its citizens. Checks and balances further protect liberty. Congress makes laws, the president enforces them, and the courts interpret them. If Congress passes a bad law, the president can veto it. If the president oversteps his powers, the courts can strike down his actions. This system forces cooperation and protects against abuse. The Northwest Ordinance of 1787 provided a plan for how new territories could become states. It guaranteed settlers freedom of religion, trial by jury, and banned slavery in the Northwest Territory. It established a democratic model for westward expansion, showing that new lands would have rights from the start. Despite this progress, the Articles of Confederation created big problems. Without the ability to tax, the government couldn't raise money to pay soldiers or debts. Economic hardships spread across the country. Shays's rebellion in 1786 exposed these weaknesses. Angry farmers in Massachusetts, burdened by debt and high taxes, rose up in protest. Their rebellion scared leaders across the country and convinced George Washington and others that a stronger national government was urgently needed. In response, the Constitutional Convention was called. During the ratification debates, 3 important writers, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, wrote the Federalist Papers. These essays defended the new Constitution and explained how a strong central government could still protect liberty and prevent tyranny. The Constitution reflects the principle of republicanism. Rather than a direct democracy where citizens vote on every law, we elect representatives who make decisions on our behalf. This balances popular control with efficient government. Changing the Constitution is a hard but possible process. An amendment must be proposed by 2/3 of Congress or a national convention, and approved by 3/4 of the states. This difficult process protects the Constitution from sudden, poorly thought out changes. The 14th Amendment, passed after the Civil War, expanded citizenship and guaranteed equal protection under the law. It made it clear that states could not deny people their rights based on race, and it laid the groundwork for the civil rights movements that would follow. Freedom of speech and freedom of the press are essential to a democratic government. They allow citizens to criticize leaders, debate ideas, and share information. But free speech has limits. Speech that causes panic, incites violence, or threatens public safety can be restricted by law. As you prepare for your end of course exam, remember these key ideas. The U.S. Constitution balances liberty with order through federalism, popular sovereignty, limited government, and checks and balances. Citizen participation through voting, activism, deliberation, and staying informed keeps our democracy alive and strong. Democracy isn't automatic. It isn't guaranteed. It must be practiced, protected, and renewed every generation. By understanding your history, your rights, and your responsibilities, you are helping to preserve the democratic ideals that define the United States of America. You are not just studying civics, you are becoming part of the story.